What if someone could slowly control your reality without screaming, without violence, without you noticing? Not by changing facts, but by changing how you see them, one sentence at a time. That never happened. You are too sensitive. You always overreact. At first, you defend yourself, but eventually, you start questioning your own memory, your emotions, your instincts, and that's when the control begins. This is called gaslighting, one of the most dangerous forms of psychological manipulation. And by the end of this video, you may realize you have experienced it yourself. Welcome to Heart and Mind, where we explore powerful psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns that shape our emotions and relationships. Today, we are breaking down gaslighting, what it is, why people do it, how it destroys confidence, and most importantly, how to protect yourself from it. Because gaslighting does not just confuse people, it disconnects them from themselves. So, what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a manipulation tactic that makes someone question their own reality, their memory, their feelings, their perception. And it usually happens slowly. That's why many victims don't notice it at first. In healthy communication, people may disagree, but in gaslighting, the goal is different. The goal is to make you doubt yourself. The manipulator wants control, and the easiest way to control someone is to weaken their trust in their own mind. That's why victims often say, maybe I'm overthinking, maybe I'm the problem, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Over time, confusion becomes self doubt, and self doubt becomes dependence. Sign 1. You are always too sensitive. One of the biggest signs of gaslighting is emotional invalidation. You express hurt, and instead of listening, they say, you are too sensitive, you are dramatic, you always make a big deal out of everything. At first, these comments seem small, but repeated over time, they teach you to distrust your emotions. Eventually, you stop speaking up. You silence yourself before they can silence you. And this is psychologically powerful because emotions are internal signals. When someone trains you to ignore your feelings, they gain emotional control over you. Healthy people may disagree with your feelings, but they don't mock them. They don't make you feel ashamed for having emotions. Sign 2. They deny clear events. This never happened. This is classic gaslighting. You remember something clearly, a conversation, a promise, an insult, but they completely deny it, even when you know it happened, and over time, you begin replaying situations again and again in your mind, trying to verify reality. Many victims even start keeping screenshots, notes, or recordings, not because they are obsessive, but because their reality keeps getting challenged. And the scary part is, even intelligent, confident people can fall into this trap because constant contradiction creates psychological exhaustion. Eventually, your brain chooses doubt over conflict. Sign 3. They shift blame onto you. You bring up a problem, but somehow the conversation becomes about your flaws. You say, that hurt me, and suddenly they respond with, well, what about what you did? You are not perfect either. You always start arguments. This is called deflection. The focus shifts away from their behavior. Now you are defending yourself, and the original issue disappears. This creates emotional chaos because nothing ever gets resolved. The conversation becomes circular, confusing, mentally exhausting, and eventually you stop bringing issues up at all. Sign 4. They rewrite the past. Gaslighters often rewrite history. They'll say things like, that's not what I meant, you misunderstood, you always remember things wrong, even when their words were clear. This slowly damages memory confidence, and once someone loses confidence in their own memory, they become easier to manipulate. Why? Because memory creates identity. Your experiences shape your reality. So, if someone constantly alters your version of events, they slowly alter how you see yourself. Sign 5. You feel confused after every conversation. Healthy communication creates clarity. Gaslighting creates confusion. You leave conversations replaying everything, overthinking every sentence, questioning your reactions, feeling guilty without understanding why. That confusion is important because confusion weakens confidence and low confidence increases dependency. The victim starts relying on the manipulator to define reality. That's why gaslighting is so dangerous. It creates emotional dependence through psychological instability. Why do people do this? There are different reasons. Some do it consciously, others learn toxic communication patterns growing up. But usually, gaslighting serves one purpose: control. Some people gaslight to avoid accountability. Some do it to protect their ego. Others do it because they fear losing power. And in many toxic relationships, control matters more to them than truth. But here's something important. Understanding why someone gaslights does not excuse the damage. Pain still affects the victim. Confusion still damages self-esteem. And emotional manipulation still destroys trust. Long-term gaslighting can deeply affect mental health. Victims may experience anxiety, self-doubt, overthinking, low self-esteem, emotional dependence, and chronic confusion. Some even begin apologizing constantly, not because they are always wrong, but because they have been conditioned to feel responsible for conflict. Many victims also lose confidence in decision making because every instinct has been questioned for so long. This is why recovery takes time. You are not just rebuilding confidence, you are rebuilding trust in yourself. So, how do you protect yourself from gaslighting? First, trust patterns, not excuses. Anyone can apologize, but repeated manipulation reveals intention. Second, stop over explaining yourself. Gaslighters often trap people in endless circular conversations. You do not need to constantly prove your reality. Third, pay attention to how your body feels. Do you constantly feel anxious, drained, confused, or mentally exhausted around this person? Your nervous system notices danger before your mind fully accepts it. Fourth, set boundaries and understand this. People who benefit from your confusion will often resist your clarity. Finally, talk to trusted people. Isolation strengthens manipulation. Support restores perspective. Gaslighting does not just make people doubt situations, it makes them doubt themselves. And once that happens, control becomes easy. But awareness changes everything because manipulation loses power the moment you recognize it. You deserve relationships where your emotions are respected, where your voice is heard, where your reality is not constantly twisted against you, and most importantly, you deserve to trust yourself again. If this video helped you understand gaslighting, subscribe to Heart and Mind for more psychology insights that help you protect your mind, understand people, and build emotional strength. And remember, you are not too sensitive, you are noticing what hurts, and that awareness is power.